What's up, Cowboys Nation? Huge breaking news coming out of Dallas. Something that's shaking up the entire NFL defensive landscape. And trust me, you're going to want to sit down for this one. The Dallas Cowboys have officially brought back a familiar face, a man with a long legacy in the NFL and ties to this very franchise. That's right. Mike Zimmer, former Minnesota Vikings head coach and longtime defensive mastermind, is making his return to Big D as the new defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, you heard that right. Zimmer is back in Dallas, the place where it all really started for him in the league. This is not just some ordinary coaching move. This is a full circle moment with massive implications for the Cowboys defense, the team's championship aspirations, and possibly even Mike McCarthy's future as head coach. Today, we're going to unpack all of it. What this hiring means, how Zimmer fits into the current defensive roster, what kind of scheme he might run, who benefits the most from his leadership, and what challenges might lie ahead for the Cowboys in this pivotal 2025 season. So buckle up, hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed because this channel always brings you the biggest Dallas Cowboys news the moment it drops. So let's start with the man at the center of this move, Mike Zimmer. For some of you newer fans, you might not realize just how deep his connection to this team really goes. Zimmer began his NFL coaching career with the Cowboys back in the early 1990s. He was part of the coaching staff during the team's Super Bowl run in the 90s and worked closely with legends like Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. He served as the Cowboys' defensive backs coach before being promoted to defensive coordinator in 2000, a role he held for several seasons. His defenses were known for being tough, disciplined, and fundamentally sound. He wasn't flashy, but his units were consistently solid, and that's a trait that has followed him throughout his coaching career. After his time in Dallas, Zimmer went on to build a strong resume as a defensive coordinator in Cincinnati before getting his shot as a head coach with the Minnesota Vikings in 2014. In Minnesota, Zimmer earned a reputation as one of the league's premier defensive minds. His teams were consistently ranked near the top of the league in key defensive metrics: points allowed, yards allowed, third down efficiency, red zone defense, you name it. He coached some incredible talents like Harrison Smith, Everson Griffin, Anthony Barr, and Danielle Hunter. Under his leadership, the Vikings made multiple playoff appearances and even reached the NFC Championship game. Say what you want about his old school mentality or rigid structure, the guy knows defense. Now, fast forward to the present day. The Cowboys' defense is in transition. After losing Dan Quinn, who left to become the head coach of the Washington Commanders, there was a major void to fill. Quinn brought a swagger and aggressive identity to this defense over the last few seasons, helping elevate stars like Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs. But with Quinn gone, Dallas had to act quickly to maintain continuity and avoid a step backward. That's where Zimmer comes in. The organization sees Zimmer as the kind of steady, proven voice who can come in, command immediate respect, and keep this defensive unit playing at an elite level. And let's be honest, with how the Cowboys season ended last year, with that embarrassing wild card playoff loss where the defense looked completely lost and unprepared, they knew they had to bring in someone who could refocus this unit and fix the fundamentals. Zimmer's hiring isn't just about bringing in a respected name. It's about getting back to discipline, smart football, and maximizing the massive defensive talent already on this roster. Speaking of talent, Zimmer is inheriting a defensive group that's absolutely stacked with playmakers. Let's start with Micah Parsons, who has quickly become one of the most dominant defensive players in the NFL. He can rush off the edge, drop into coverage, and disrupt plays from anywhere on the field. Zimmer's scheme, known for creative blitz packages and aggressive fronts, could unlock even more dimensions in Parsons' game. Expect to see Parsons move around even more, standing up as a linebacker on early downs and shifting to an edge rusher on third and long. Then you've got Trevon Diggs, a ball hawk cornerback who's coming back healthy and hungry after missing time last season. Alongside him is Deron Bland, who stepped up massively and even broke the single-season pick-six record. The kid is legit. Zimmer's background as a defensive backs coach means this secondary is about to get even sharper. He's known for drilling his corners and safeties on leverage, route recognition, and communication, all the things that elevate a good secondary to an elite one. But it's not just the back end that'll benefit. The Cowboys' front seven is full of talent. Osa Odigizua, DeMarcus Lawrence, Sam Williams, and let's not forget about linebackers like Damone Clark and Leighton Vander Esch if he returns healthy. If Dallas adds a few key pieces through free agency or the draft, especially a true run-stuffing defensive tackle or a thumper linebacker, Zimmer could have everything he needs to build a top 5 defense again. But we've got to be honest here. This isn't 2017 anymore, and Zimmer will have to adjust to today's NFL. Offenses have evolved. You've got quarterbacks getting the ball out lightning fast, motion at the snap, RPOs, spread formations. It's a different world than the one Zimmer coached in during his peak with the Vikings. If he comes in with a my way or the highway mentality and refuses to adapt, this could backfire. But from what we've heard in his initial interviews, Zimmer seems very aware of this. Like, he's talked about coaching to his players' strengths, about staying current, and about embracing the challenge of stopping today's modern offenses. That's a good sign. We've seen veteran coaches come back and thrive, like look at Wade Phillips, look at Vic Fangio. So Zimmer can absolutely succeed if he stays flexible and surrounds himself with sharp assistants. That's another piece of the puzzle, the staff. Zimmer is expected to bring in a couple of trusted assistants to help implement his vision, and the existing Cowboys defensive coaches may remain on board, at least those with strong ties to player development. Now let's talk expectations. Cowboys fans are hungry. The window to win is wide open. And this defense, along with Dak Prescott and the offense, is supposed to be in its prime. Zimmer wasn't brought in to rebuild. He was brought in to elevate, to fine-tune, and to deliver results immediately. Anything less than a deep playoff run is going to raise serious questions. For Mike McCarthy, this hire might also represent his last chance to make something happen in Dallas. If the team underachieves again this season, both McCarthy and Zimmer could be on the chopping block. That's the reality of coaching in the NFL, especially in a market like Dallas, where Jerry Jones and the fan base expect nothing short of a Super Bowl. So, while Zimmer brings a ton of experience and leadership, the pressure is absolutely on. That being said, the potential is real. Imagine a defense that plays smart, aggressive football, that doesn't give up big plays late, that doesn't fold in key moments. Imagine a Micah Parsons-led pass rush with Zimmer dialing up exotic blitzes. Imagine a secondary that confuses quarterbacks with disguised coverages. Imagine a team that tackles well, communicates clearly, and plays with pride. That's what Zimmer can bring. He's not flashy, he's not a meme-worthy motivator like Dan Quinn, but he's respected. He's demanding. And most of all, he's obsessed with defensive excellence. And let's not forget, this is personal for him. Coming back to Dallas after nearly 2 decades with unfinished business with a chip on his shoulder, that's motivation you can't manufacture. So, Cowboys Nation, I want to hear from you. Is Mike Zimmer the right hire? Can he take this talented defense to the next level? Or is this a move rooted in nostalgia, a reach for past glory instead of a step toward the future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me your predictions. Do you see this team finishing with a top 5 defense again under Zimmer? Do you think Micah Parsons can win Defensive Player of the Year in this system? Or are there concerns about Zimmer's ability to adapt and keep up with today's offensive schemes? Whatever you think, let's talk about it. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're going to be tracking every move this team makes. Roster cuts, preseason matchups, injury reports, and in-depth film breakdowns once the season starts. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and as always, how about them Cowboys?